Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and this Eternals update part 2 is going to feel a lot like deja vu. I've been in this place before. These are my first impressions of the update, but they are largely similar to the first impressions that I had on the part 1 update with Icarus, Cersei, and Makari, in large part because it is essentially the same thing with different characters. The only bigger difference here is that we now have a new game mode, which is going to feel a lot like other game modes sort of mishmashed together. And this time around, at least, we know two things. One, the universal type is probably guaranteed to be better than the current best universal Eternal, Icarus. Like, Thena's probably way better than Icarus. But the most important part here is I haven't started an epic quest yet, and I'm not stuck on the Gilgamesh epic quest the way that I was on Makari. So just like Makari's, it appears that Gilgamesh's epic quest is going to stop you with the mission, 10 or 12 quests in, where you have to run this mission 3 times, and then you have to run it 3 times again, which is obviously impossible because it's run a maximum of 4 times per day. So just to be very clear, if you want to maximize the amount of content that you can do, and especially for those of you that want to maximize how quickly you can get Thena, because I know that she's hot and a lot of people want to get their hands on her, giggity, you're going to want to complete KINGO's epic quest first. You can complete it in 1 day if you aggressively refresh crystals with timeline battle, and then jump into Gilgamesh's on the first day, as on the same day as well. If you go as aggressively as possible, again, just trying to maximize how quickly you can get Thena, you should be able to get her by either Friday or Saturday the 19th or the 20th. Obviously, that's going to change if you take more time, if you wait for your daily reset to give you more timeline battle runs, etc. But I just want to let you guys know, because I didn't know going into the last epic quest, and it really bit me in the behind. I ended up getting stuck doing the Makari quest for 3 days, and I couldn't touch Icarus, I couldn't touch Cersei, not in that way. And it sort of, slowed me down tremendously. So yeah, that's one thing that I want to make very clear for you guys. It's basically KINGO's epic quest is sort of like a mirror of Cersei's. If you've done Cersei's, KINGO's is very similar. And then on the flip side, if you've done Makari's epic quest, Gilgamesh's is very similar. We don't know anything about Thena's yet because no one is able to complete that one just yet, and we'll only have information in a few days. So that is it for the epic quest side of things. As far as the characters go, I haven't heard too much because people aren't racing to unlock them as quickly as they did for, I guess, Makari, and at the time Cersei and Icarus were already out. But I have heard good things. I've heard mostly good things about KINGO. KINGO is free, by the way. Just want to clarify that. I will be doing a video very soon on KINGO's epic quest and completing that. But yes, you can get KINGO from speed selectors that you get for free. You can get KINGO from the 6-star selector that they gave us for free, the 6-star character selector. So there's lots of ways to get him for free. You can also just get him for free by completing his epic quest. You'll get him for free. I think it's up to tier 2. I'm not exactly sure how far they go with him, or maybe they transcend him through his epic quest. Yeah, so you get all that there, and he's very easy to get, and then you can decide whether or not you want to get his uniform. Unlike the previous 3 epic quest characters, I will be doing more of a review on these characters without their uniforms. I think it's important, and it's something that I was sort of lacking with Cersei, Icarus, and Makari, although Cersei and Icarus were a little bit different in terms of, the overall layout and the time between them releasing and then getting uniforms. As far as the new content goes, I'll give you my reaction on Dimension Rifts. My reaction is mixed. I like what they're doing. I appreciate what they're trying to do with Dimension Rifts, and I feel like there is a reasonable amount of complication here. It's not complicated. It's not so complicated that you can't understand it after a couple of runs, but at the same time, it does feel a bit rehashed. So it's still a Dimension Rift in the sense of, it's basically a combination of the old Dimension Rifts where, I can open one, you can open one if we're friends or if we're in the same alliance, and then I can run. You can see I've got this guy in Beast Meta, and then Trainer Chopper, who's not in my alliance. So you'll be able to see rifts from both your teammates in your alliance and also your friends who are on your friends list who may not be in your alliance at all, or who may not even be in an alliance. So there's that aspect to it that's a bit social, but it's reduced because there's a maximum of 5 participants, and there's a bit more competition between you because there's only 1 MVP reward, and that's going to be split among, not split, but you're going to be competing against your friends. So if I jump into Beast, I can't now because I haven't, I cannot enter this one. But if I were to enter Beast Kitu's or Kitku's Rift, I'd be competing with them to try to get the MVP reward. Now, the MVP reward is not crazy good, which is another thing I have an issue with. I feel like the rewards need to be a little bit rebalanced, at least from the looks of it. But that's another thing that makes it a little bit different than Dimension Rifts. But yeah, as far as the gameplay, if you're wondering what the Dimension Rifts look like, it's very, very similar to the story mode fragment farming, where you have 3 characters that you can switch between seamlessly, but you can only play as one of them, and you're basically just running through the quest. And you can actually get a pretty accurate idea of exactly what it's like if you jump into some of these specific quests. Like, I think one of the quests that I was running was Cracking the Shield, I believe, or Beginning of the Storm. Actually, I think it's actually just called Beginning of the Storm. Yeah, so it's just a copy paste of that exact quest. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think they could have either made some new dungeon zones, or at least populated the dungeon zones with different mobs, different monsters, different bosses. You know, it is what it is. On the flip side, you do have a rotation. You do have a schedule that rotates every single day, so it's not like you're going to do the same mission every single day. And for those of you that don't farm the story mode, this is going to be very refreshing because you haven't played this content at all. But for those of you that do farm the story mode a lot, this is very, very familiar. Very, very familiar. Additionally, you do have the option to run it autoplay, but unless you have a pretty stacked roster, it's actually very hard to complete the last difficulty. So if you see here, I actually don't know. Yeah, okay. It doesn't actually count you going in until you actually go in and press start. But basically, there's 6 difficulties, and pretty much from the second difficulty, you have to start using tier 3 characters. You can't use tier 2 characters, so just keep that in mind. But then from there, it gets increasingly difficult to the point where for difficulty 6, I didn't want to risk. I wasn't even using that team, by the way. I was using this team, and I didn't want to risk the autoplay running out of time, so I was actually manually playing. So it's nice that you have the option, right? And if you're not competing for the MVP, if you're not competing to complete the progress bar as fast as possible, the energy cost is the same for 5 and 6, so you could just autoplay 5 instead of manually playing 6 if your account can't handle it. So that's an option there for you, but yeah, I'm a little bit iffy on the recycled stages, and I'm a little bit iffy on the rewards. We'll have to wait and see how it works, but I can appreciate what they're trying to do with this, and I think it's ambitious, and I definitely think that this could be really, really fun and like a top tier game mode with some tweaks and some adjustments. Obviously, it's way too early in the update to already be asking for adjustments and tweaks in this. They're going to need to collect more data on player feedback and player habits in this game mode and how many players are even picking it up. So I do encourage you to play it so they have some more data, the devs, I mean. But I do think that it's going to come down to a lot of player strategy because, you know, you go in here and you get these tokens. So it shows the different artifacts. I'm just going to hide my camera here real quick. But you're really only going to get the normal Rift summoning token, or summoning stone, I should say, not the other ones. I mean, maybe you get some of the other ones, but I think it's a very low drop rate. Actually, oh, you can't see what the drop rate is. But anywho, you get what I'm saying. And then basically from here, you would then combine the lower ones into the higher ones. So I'll show you what that looks like. But basically, it can take up to 6 slots in your inventory, but you go over here to material, you go to the bottom and you go to material fusion, and this is a very familiar screen, and then you would just combine it. But the strategy here is not only combining it up to the level that you can actually farm, because keep in mind, I was farming stage 6, so this is where it gets interesting and gets kind of exciting. I was farming stage 6 of normal, but we can go all the way up to heroic at least, and he's able to do it. He's able to do some of the missions there. So, you know, the difficulty is in question, but what's cool is you can basically fuse these up to whatever you need, right? And it's going to divide it by 2 every single time because it needs 2 of each, right? You can see there's always 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then whatever difficulty you end up settling on, right, for the rift that you want to open, whether it's advanced or heroic or whatever, you open that and you can see the rewards do get better, right? Here, like from here up to heroic, you don't even get the chance to drop the exclusive artifact, but here you do. Okay, that's one. but then 2, you can just plan. So I don't think I'm gonna even bother opening rifts other than normal. I'm just gonna hoard the normal rifts on these other days because I don't care about White Fox or Crescent or Wave or Luna, their exclusive artifact, but I care about Captain America. So what I like about this is that there isn't an incentive, there isn't a huge incentive to constantly be playing this at a very high level. And so you can basically spread out your play style and you can farm it very casually and still get decent rewards. Like I farmed it very casually. I've only done 1 of my 3 runs and I got 300. So it seems like you could pretty easily farm, you know, close to 1,000 of these stones a day, which still equals a decent amount of mythic stones. And again, just assuming that you can farm the mythic one in general, but you only really need to go up to legendary to get a chance at the 3-star artifacts. And then you just wait for the day that it lands on them for the ones that you want. Do you see what I'm saying? So I like this game mode. I think it's ambitious. I think it's got a lot of room to grow. I just hope that the devs are paying very close attention to it and that they are, you know, really paying attention to player feedback so that we get a game mode that ends up being robust and fun and it gets updated regularly rather than being a game mode that gets released and is in beta. I'm glad they're not putting the beta tag on these game modes anymore, let's be honest, but a game mode that's released and then not really tweaked. They did tweak Timeline Survival twice now, which is good. I still think it needs some tweaks, especially to differentiate it from Dimension Missions. You're probably wondering as well, what's more worth it for your time? I kind of think Dimension Rifts are more worth your time if you want to farm Celestial Essence and you want to farm Artifact than Timeline Survival. I have to double check because they did update some of the animations and things, so it might be faster to go through the map now, but I think it wastes more energy. I think Timeline Survival wastes more energy than Dimension Rifts, which is another important factor because you guys have a limited amount of energy, especially with the epic quests, which, by the way, if you were wondering, because I didn't cover it before, yes, the Gilgamesh epic quest and yes, the Kingo epic quest both appear to have the same one research mission that Icarus, Cersei, and Makari also had. So yeah, that's basically it for the update as far as that goes. There is one more thing that you're going to see basically throughout the game, and it's essentially numbers, percentages, chances to get things. And I actually find this really interesting. I know some people are not going to like it, some people are going to not pay attention to it, but they've basically just put in, rather than having to go to a separate page on the forums that loads in a screen on this, you know, on the, like, instead of having to load this, right? They basically just inserted all of the chance to get XYZ into the game. So what am I talking about? If you look above the store text, there's a little 3D box with a magnifying glass. You click on that and it's going to give you this prompt pop-up. Now you can go ahead and see what the chances are, what the RNG odds are for literally everything that you do in the game. And it's just kind of interesting and quirky to go in and see, especially if you've been playing for a while, if you've been playing for years. Like, you've always had a hunch. We've always had a hunch that some of the ISO sets were easier to roll than others, or that some of them were really hard to roll. Turns out we were right, and you can go and check that out separately. I won't spoil that one for you, but for example, Uru. I can go ahead to Uru and it will show you what the chance is to combine. Unsurprisingly, the chance to combine is all the same for different types because, you know, obviously it doesn't matter. This is if you're combining all basic Uru, what your chance is to get each one of them. But for example, you go over here and you go over to team, and I can go to my null gears, and I can see when I go to normal enhance, and in the corner it says upgrade chance info. I can see here when you upgrade his gear, I have a 57% chance for a normal ×1 success. I have a 40% chance for I think it's a ×2 or ×3 super success, and then I have a 2.5% chance to get that crazy like 40x in one shot upgrade chance. And this is littered throughout the game. So we go over here to the Uru amplification, and again, well, it's all of his are amplified, so I can't show you that one. But if we go to a character where they're not all amplified, it'll show you what the chance is to amplify the certain number of slots. So if you're going for ×3, which is going to save you the most gold, you have a 20% chance. That's actually pretty low to get 3, and then you actually only have a 9% chance to get 4 amplified, and then abysmally you have a 1% chance to get 5. So yeah, some people are gonna get a bit heated about the odds. I don't think it matters. I just like the transparency. I think it's really important, especially for Netmarble, who is sort of getting this, or has gotten over the years, this reputation to be a very gacha heavy developer that inserts a lot of RNG mechanics into their games. I think this is a step in the right direction to sort of build back a little bit of the trust and transparency. Like, we know the odds are bad, but it's much better now that we know the odds and you can see what they are, rather than just being like, I'm pretty sure they're bad, but I'm not sure how bad. So now you can sort of see it and you can prepare yourself, and it just, I think mentally it just makes more sense, and it, you know, just works better. There's nothing here for the uniform to show odds because there's no like chance to fail or whatever, but yeah, you kind of get what I'm saying. I'm guessing there's one more thing I want to see here. Maybe for enhancing potential, are there odds? Why would there be odds, Alex? It's literally choose your own adventure. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Anywho, you get what I'm saying, and I think it's just an interesting little thing that they added, and I would love to hear your feedback in the comments down below, what you think of it. And honestly, I think more games should do this. So I actually think MFF is sort of leading the way in this regard, unless it's already in all other games and I just haven't been paying attention. I haven't really been playing other mobile games besides MFF lately. So yeah, it's late. I'm gonna go make some more videos. Thank you so much for watching this one. I really appreciate the support. Smash the like button if you want to see more MFF content, as I'm sure you do. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.